Okay guys, so today we're starting on the Western plow harness for Dad's 2013 GMC 2500HD. You can see I got it laid out on the floor. It's a little easier to see if you lay it out. It doesn't look quite as scary when it's all bundled up. But this is actually the harness from his old truck. We're going to be trying to put the old plow on this truck here. And I just took the old harness. This is not a direct swap. I believe the headlight harness is going to be different. Western wants like $200 for that headlight harness. So I went on Amazon and bought a few plug adapters, because the reason it's different, I'm pretty sure, is because they use different bulbs in this truck versus the older truck, the 2004. So I'm hoping to be able to convert that with about $13 in parts. I guess we'll see here. But normally when you buy a plow, you tell them what truck it's going on, and Western will give you a direct, it's pretty much plug and play harness for your truck, except for the lighting. Some of the lighting needs to be spliced in, so you're still going to have to do that. But for the most part, it's plug and play. This one I'm going to try to modify to save a bunch of money. We've already got this harness. I'm going to try to use it. This is actually a 3-plug harness, because that old Western Pro that I had was converted to a 3-plug plow. I installed the newer style headlights. That's when that happened. The Western dealer had me convert it to a 3-plug. I don't know if it was easier to do it that way or what, but this is what it is. I'm pretty sure nowadays you're only going to have 2 plugs on these plows now. You're not going to see a 3-plug anymore. But that's what the plow is, so that's what we're going to put on. You can see here's the 3 plugs that will go into the plow. This one here is your main power plug. It goes to the battery. It's got a positive and a negative terminal. It goes to the battery. This one also has a solenoid, because it's going to run the pump. Your newer plows, I believe the solenoid is always going to be on the plow. And the Western plows anyway. They moved the solenoid to the plow, I believe. So it's inside the front of the plow, inside all that shrouding. But the older ones, it was under the hood. There's also a few wires that kind of go into the control harness, but those are already wired up. Then you've got a second plug. I believe this one is the headlight plug. One's the headlight, one's the controller. Don't really know which one is which, but you got 2 more plugs. This one here goes to the controller in the cab, and then you've got a wire coming off of that. It needs to be a switched 12-volt power source. All this happens inside the cab. Then you've got your ISO module that'll plug into these plugins right here. That usually sits on top of the fuse box. Then you've got your left side headlights, right side headlights. These are plug and play if you have the right bulbs. The 2004 has a 9005 9006 high and low beam headlights, and these will plug into that. I've got an adapter. I think they're still running the 9005 or the 9006, but then they got an HB3 or something. They got a different headlight on these ones for the high beam, I think. Don't quote me on that. And then you've got your turn signals and parking lights, and another one for your turn signal on this side. Those are the ones you got to splice into, is right here. I don't think they've got plug and play yet, but I've not gotten a new plow harness for a newer truck, so I'm not sure. They might have went plug and play, but anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's not quite so scary when it's spread out and you can see all the connections. It's really not, I don't think it's that hard of a job. Most of the difficulty comes in running your wires all through your engine bay, trying to get everything wired out of the way and kind of nicely, and then you got to go into the cab, which is, you got to go through the firewall into the cab, which is fun sometimes. But I think I got an idea for this one. I just run some other light wires through it, so I think I can get this through it. Hopefully I can get that through it. Anyway, I guess I'm going to start on getting this thing run into the engine bay. So I got to open up the hood and start routing this stuff. There's a few differences on these trucks than the 2004, but I guess I'll show you that as we run into it. Okay, so just one thing I noticed right off the bat that's different is there's no battery right here. This is where the main battery used to sit on the trucks. I see they've moved it to over there. So this would be a spot for the second battery. I'm guessing the diesels get the battery right here. It would be helpful if there was a battery here because I could set it up just like the 2004. And we probably should have two batteries. You probably should run two batteries on a plow setup. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do there. We might have to get two batteries. We'll see. But yeah, I got to, I'm going to have to pull this shroud off, see what kind of access I can get to the headlights. I haven't really looked. Everything's back in there pretty tight. We'll see. I got to pull this plastic piece off and we'll see what I got to take apart. Well, guys, working away here. You can see I got the truck turned around. I got the plow in the shop here. This is ready to get hooked up to the truck as soon as I get my wiring finished to test it before I completely put everything back together. So that's why I've turned the truck around. You can see I've got the truck tore apart. I had to take off this trim piece there, then the grill, then the headlights. I suppose you might be able to do this with like the grill and stuff on there, but it's so much easier to have all kinds of room here. I've got my wires routed and I think everything's going to work out. I have my solenoid down there, and my positive cable is going to be able to go to my battery. The negative one is down there on the block. It's attached to the negative cable that comes from the battery, so it's attached to the battery. So it should be easily replaced if that solenoid goes bad. Sitting right there, shouldn't be too bad of a job. And then I've got a nest of wires here. I got to clean this up, but I got my ISO module here. It's probably going to go on top of the fuse box, just like my older trucks. And then I'll have to clean this all up, guys. Right now, I'm doing a lot of testing. There's the harness that's going to go into the cab right there. And then I've got my headlight harness here. I'm getting that all figured out. Got my other headlight harness here. I've got all my plugs out, so I got enough length for all my plugs. Should have no trouble with that. I have now the lights. I'm going to have to do some adapting because this harness is for a 2004. Actually, it'll work all the way to 2007, the classic, I think. But it's for a 2004, and they have a 9005 and a 9006 bulb. These newer trucks, the headlights right here, it has a 9005 high beam. I believe that's the high beam. Yes, that's the high beam. But you've got this other bulb, I even forget what it is, but it's got a different deal. So it's not the 9006 that the old truck has. So what I did is I went and got an extension for this bulb here, and I have spliced on this end right here. So the factory plug will plug into this one, and then from here I got an adapter that takes the 9006 and goes to the, I'm not even sure, I should know this, but it's going to adapt it to the actual headlight that it has. The other side, the high beam is going to work fine, 9005. It ain't got to mess with anything, so that should be fine there. I've got to grab my parking lights on this side, also my turn signal. I'm going to grab it off of this harness right here that plugs into the headlight itself. The blue with a white stripe is the turn signal, and then the brown obviously is the parking lights. And that's the same on both sides. You've got blue with a white stripe is the turn signal, and then brown is the parking. But all I need on this side is the turn signal, because we're going to grab the parking lights from this side. So that's kind of what I got to do. I got to finish up some wiring. I'm not going to worry about the daytime running light. I don't exactly know which one. It might be the yellow wire, but I'm just going to leave it off for now. I didn't run it on his other truck, so you don't have to run the daytime running light. What that does is it'll turn the parking lights on the Plow as a daytime running light, so it doesn't matter. But there we go, guys. I got to get these connected. The parking light, turn signal, and then the turn signal on this side shouldn't be that difficult. I'm going to use my weatherproof butt connectors. Everything should be nice and sealed. And in theory, this should all work out. In my head, it works out. Will it work out in real life? I'm about to find out once I get some more wiring done. So I'm going to get that done. Probably going to run this controller cable through the firewall quick, and then yeah, I'll be ready to do a test, guys. Okay, so I've got everything wired up, getting ready to do a test right now. Hopefully it's gonna all work out. Gonna bring my Plow up, we're gonna get it hooked up, and we're gonna see how it works. Just to mention, this Plow is a Unimount, an old Unimount. It has the Unimount to Ultramount adapter on it. Pretty sure they don't make these anymore, but you can find them used. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll this one up. We're going to get it hooked up and do a test. Well, struggling here to get this thing hooked up. Come to find out, this right here is hitting the bolt. The bolt right there. And I can't get this to seat inside the hitch. Oh man, I don't know. I gotta clearance this out a little bit to get it to go on. Okay, so I just took that bolt out, flattened the head out a little bit. I think that's all I need. I don't need much clearance. Okay, so I got everything hooked up. Finally got the Plow hooked up. I had to modify both sides because the bolts were messing up this Ultramount to Unimount adapter. So I'm going to turn the lights on. I'm going to test them here. So everything is working Okay, so that's a good sign when your lights work without the plow connected. It's a good sign. Okay, we got high beams, low beams, parking lights, so that's looking good. We're going to plug the plow in. And we have no parking lights. Why don't we have parking lights? Okay, there must be something. I gotta clean these pins off. But there we go. This plow's been sitting for 2 years out there, so I'll have to clean off all the connectors. But so far so good. We got low beams. And we've got high beams. And we've got turn signals. Make sure something ain't wrong with the turn signals. You never know with all this electronic crap. Alright, we look good. So I'm pretty happy with that, guys. This is really what I was worried about, was the lighting side. We're working with this newer truck here with my older harness, but it seems like it worked out. Not too worried about the controlling of the plow, because that's pretty much a separate system from the truck. If you got a good power, good ground, the controller should work. I am a little concerned with how well the motor and pump and everything in there is going to do. Again, this thing's been sitting 2 years, maybe more. But I gotta probably rig up a quick power source for my remote, and we're gonna try to run this plow, see if it'll work. Okay, so I should be able to control this thing. I'm just gonna touch the power here and see if we got full function here. Got my fish stick right here. So for some reason we ain't got power. We ain't working. Why ain't we working? I got positive, negative. Well, guys, apparently my fish stick has died. I call it a fish stick because it's a Fisher. It's a Fisher remote, and the reason I got a Fisher one is just because it was cheaper at the time. Fisher stuff was cheaper if you could find it. But apparently there's something wrong with this. It won't run the plow, but I got the old faithful joystick here, and once I give her some power, sitting, like I said, for 2 years plus. So the fact that it even moves, I'm surprised. But once I get everything figured out and I do get the plow hooked on here so I can use it, I'm going to change the fluid, clean the filter in the pump. I got a ground wire I want to move to that post there, so I got a good ground. But yeah, guys, it's working. So I got to sit here now and button everything up, and when I come back, I guess maybe I'll have it hooked up and actually hook it up and do some testing maybe with it. Well, we're back together, guys. All that's left to do really is hook this thing up and do a little bit of testing. I've got everything pretty much tidied up in here. Got my ISO module right there. It's velcroed to the fuse box lid there. Got my cord running through the firewall, through that grommet. I did get everything through there. I don't know how, but I did. I do have to find a 12-volt power source inside the cab for the remote. That's the only thing I got to do. And that shouldn't be too hard. There's a little, like a block there under the thing. This should be able to pull a switched 12-volt power source from that. I don't think I'll have any problem with that, but yeah, it's pretty well finished up. Hopefully it's gonna work. See what's happening outside. Yeah, we're gonna be able to test her. Gonna be able to test her outside here once I get her finished up. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm gonna get these last few things finished up, and we'll have a plow truck, guys. Working good, guys. Well, guys, she's working. We got ourselves another plow truck. She's a little loose, she makes a little noise, but she still gets the job done, guys. I gotta get some fluid. We're out of fluid. I want to do a fluid change. I want to clean that filter on that pump. It's running great. I mean, it's running really good. So there's a lot of new parts on this thing, so I was hoping that it would work out this well, and it did. So I gotta change the oil and stuff like that, and then I'm probably gonna start cleaning up the blade. Blade is not in the best condition, guys. It's got some issues, but probably just going to cosmetically make it look nice so it don't look so bad on Dad's nice truck. Also, out there running this blade, there's something to be said about the simplicity of a straight blade, guys. You just angle it and push, and actually with these wings that I have set up on this thing, it's pretty much you just leave it in the straight position and you push. Not really a whole lot of angling going on with these wings, but I would never run a plow without wings, guys. A straight blade anyway. They just help so much. It's just crazy. I remember when I didn't have wings, how I was chasing the little rows that are left by the blade. You gotta have some sort of wing, guys. But anyway, guys, I guess that's gonna do it for this one. We're getting a fleet here of snow plows. Anyway, I guess I'll see you guys.